Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City Council meeting. It is Tuesday, April 9th, and we're certainly pleased to have all of you here. We'll start our meeting with a roll call.
Councilors Aguilar?
Here.
Anderson?
Here.
Entenmann?
Here.
Erpenbach?
Here.
Jameson?
Here.
Karski?
Here.
Rolfing?
Here.
Staggers?
Present.
Thank you very much. As we do with every meeting, we will start with an invocation. We've got Pastor Phil Tagg here from the Ransom Church. We're certainly pleased to have the pastor here. And with the incredible weather we have, it's certainly a great opportunity for prayer and reflection and faith and hope. So thank you. We'd ask you to stand, and when the pastor is done with the prayer, we'll have our Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Let's pray. Father, we do thank you for safety, for bringing everyone here. And Lord, we have to travel home as well. And so I just pray even now for traveling safety on the way home. But even in the midst of this meeting, God, I just pray for your presence. We don't need your presence just to drive here and drive home through the weather. We need your presence at all times. We need your wisdom and your mercy and your guidance. And as these individuals sit and they make decisions on behalf of a growing city, every moment they need your guidance. And so I just pray that you would be with each of them, that you would guide their hearts, you would guide them, again, in wisdom, that you would give them the heart of the people, and that you would give them a mind to see what really matters. Guide each decision, big or small, I pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, Denise, for saving the city. Appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. It's certainly is really, really interesting day for all of us, and we know we don't have a huge crowd, but we've got an important group of people that are here. I do have two proclamations. First one is the Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service. The proclamation reads, whereas the nation's mayors are increasingly turning to national service and volunteerism as a cost-effective strategy to meet city needs. Whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service and the South Dakota Commission for National and Community Service Programs make a significant impact within our community. Whereas AmeriCorps members at Lutheran Social Services of South Dakota recruit, support, and retain 1,489 volunteer mentors who work with nearly 1,500 youth in the Sioux Falls area to improve GPA, decrease school discipline referrals, increase mentorship opportunities, and provide expanded exposure to the arts. Whereas last year alone, AmeriCorps volunteers and Service to America members with Volunteers of America recruited 738 volunteers who provided nearly 18,000 hours of volunteer service in Sioux Falls and generated a value of over $100,000 in resources from programs working to eliminate poverty. Whereas in the Sioux Falls area, 344 retired senior volunteer program members served over 48,000 hours to 105 different area nonprofit organizations in categories such as transportation services, community-based volunteer programs, education, food distribution, and other human needs. In addition, 54 Senior Corps Senior Companion Program members provided 277 elderly and disabled adults with 34,000 hours of service. Whereas the Corporation for National and Community Service shares a priority with mayors nationwide to engage citizens, improve lives, and strengthen communities, and is joining with mayors across the country to support the Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim April 9th, 2013 as Mayor's Day of Recognition for National Service in Sioux Falls, and encourage residents to recognize the positive impact of national service in our city and thank those who serve and find ways to give back to their communities. Thank you. Now, Major, would you please join me, and your son as well? Thank you. I had the opportunity today, Council, to engage Major Meyer, her son, her daughter, her husband, as well as other military service members from all the different armed forces of the, boy, I can't even speak tonight, branches of the armed forces. Thank you, Major. And it was a great event, and invited them here today so that the whole city could understand what it is that we're gonna celebrate on Friday. And it is. The proclamation reads, whereas thousands of brave American service members from South Dakota have demonstrated their courage and commitment to freedom by serving the armed forces of the United States of America around the globe. Whereas a great number of these soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines have left families with children behind while serving. Whereas over 1,500 military children and youth in Minnehaha and Lincoln counties alone have at least one parent currently serving in the armed services. Whereas these children, they are a source of pride and honor to us in Sioux Falls and South Dakota, and it is only fitting that we take time to celebrate their spirit and recognize their contributions, letting our men and women in uniform know that while they are taking care of us, we are taking care of their children. Whereas the recognition of April 12th as Purple Up for Military Kids Day will allow us to pay tribute to military children for their commitment, struggles, and unconditional support of our troops. Because when parents serve in the military, their children serve too. Whereas a special day to celebrate our military children will encourage support for Operation Military Kids, Guard, Reserve, and active duty military families, and other organizations established to provide local support to military children and families that are in our very own backyards. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim April 12th, which is this Friday, as Purple Up for Military Kids Day in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I urge all citizens, businesses, and government leaders to observe this day by wearing purple in order to salute, honor, support, and thank our military children in the community. And I will be wearing purple on Friday, Major Meyer. And again, thank you. On behalf of the whole city, thanks for your service. And for all the 1,500 military children, thank you for your service as well. Council, thank you for that time. Now move on to tonight's consent agenda. Any changes, Council?
Move to approve, Karski.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve our consent agenda, seconded by Councilor Anderson, Jr. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Intiman?
Yes.
Urkenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Now move on to our regular agenda. Council, any changes to the agenda?
Move to approve, Urkenbach.
Second, Intiman.
There's been a motion to approve our agenda tonight, and it has been seconded by Councilor Entman.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Councilor Black.
I would move to amend the main motion to defer item 16 to the meeting of Tuesday, April 16th.
Second, Aguilar.
There's been a motion to defer item number 16 to a later meeting, and it was made by Councilor Urpenbach, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Entenmann,
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed. The motion to defer is passed 8-0. Any other changes, council? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Entenmann,
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you, council. That is passed 8-0. We'll now move on with our meeting. Folks, this is an opportunity. If you want, you can engage the council. This is our public input portion. Would anybody want to come forward to speak to the council? Very good. Thanks again for being here. Then we'll move on to item number 7.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a permanent easement located in Lot 11A of Block 11, Westwood Valley addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division. Items 7 through 11 address the release of sump pump collection system access easements or permanent utility easements in the Westwood Valley subdivision, which is west of the Family Wellness Center. Design changes to the subdivision led to a full right-of-way vacation and a partial right-of-way vacation. Because of the vacations, the lot sizes will change, and these easements are in the wrong locations. Following the release of these easements, the lots will be replatted and new easements will be created on the new plat. So item 7 deals with a permanent sump pump collection system access easement.
Chad, thank you. This is a second reading. Did anybody want to speak in regards to this item? Council?
Move approval, Rolfing. Second, Karski.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Karski. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 8-0. Item 8.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of permanent utility easements located in Lot 15 and 16, Block 12, Westwood Valley addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
Item 8 deals with permanent utility easements, and engineering recommends its release.
Chad, thank you again. A second reading. Anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move to approve, Karski. Second, Rolfing.
Councilor Karski has made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 9.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of permanent easements located in Lots 6A and 7A, Block 11, Westwood Valley addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
This is a permanent sump pump collection system access easement and a permanent utility easement, and engineering recommends approval.
Chad, thank you. Anyone in the audience want to speak to this? Council?
Move to approve, Entenmann.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Edmonds made a motion to approve item number 9, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. No discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 8-0. Item 10.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a permanent utility easements located in Lot 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, and 14A, Block 11, Westwood Valley addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
These are permanent utility easements, and engineering recommends approval.
So moved, Rolfing. I'm
Chad.
sorry, we got to.
Chad, thank you very much. Anybody in the audience want to speak to this item? Councilor.
So moved. Second.
Councilor Rolfing, thank you very much. Councilor Karski, thank you as well for the second. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Entenmann.
Yes.
Erpenbach.
Yes.
Jamison.
Yes.
Karski.
Yes.
Rolfing.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Aguilar.
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Item 11.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of permanent utility easements located in Lot 15 of Block 1, Westwood Valley Addition to the City of Sioux Falls, and in Lot 2 of Block 12, Westwood Valley Addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
These are also permanent utility easements, and engineering recommends approval.
Thank you, Chad. Again, anybody in the audience? Very good, Council.
Move to approve Entenmann.
Second.
Councilor Entenmann's made a motion to approve this item, seconded by Councilor Jamison. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Entenmann,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 12.
Second reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the Code of Ordinances of the city by expanding Chapter 30, City Council, Subchapter Naming Facilities.
David?
Mr. Mayor, this item involves the expansion of council oversight over the naming of city buildings as well as fixtures within those buildings. There is also on SIRE an amendment requested by the Arboretum Society regarding gardens, walks, and landscape areas that are of a less than permanent nature.
David, thank you. Second reading, folks. Anybody want to speak to this item? Very good, Council.
Move to approve Anderson.
Second Aguilar.
Councilor Anderson Jr. has made a motion to approve item number 12, seconded by Councilor Aguilar. Any discussion? Councilor Anderson Jr.?
Motion to amend section 30.060 by adding the sentence, gardens, walks, fields, and other landscapes areas of less than permanent duration between the word "are" and park benches in line A, and replacing the word amenities with the word fixtures in line B.
Councilor Anderson Jr., thank you very much. He has made a motion to amend this item. Is there a second?
Karski.
And it's been seconded by Councilor Karski. Any discussion? A roll call vote on the amendment.
Councilors Entenmann,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 8-0. Any further amendments? Councilor Erpenbach.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to make a comment. I didn't have an amendment. I just was concerned about the perception of this particular action on the part of the council.
Thank you.
This item really isn't a money grab. It's not us, the city, going looking for ways to sell more names. I think it's important for the public to understand that the item came really at the request of the council administration working together. And it's really to ensure that we have control over those names of places like the Carnegie and places like the Pavilion and the zoo and those areas, that we need to be able to control those names so that they're named appropriately and within the respect that they're due. And so this is an important piece of legislation for us. We don't have this kind of control now, and I would ask for your support.
Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
And to add to that, Mayor, this also will allow the public to have that information before the contract's actually signed. So, in the view of open government, I think this is going to be a good amendment here and a good ordinance.
Well, thank you both for the comments. Appreciate it. We now have an amended main motion. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Entenmann,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item number 13.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending chapters 50 and 52 of the Code of Ordinances of the city regarding regulation of non-essential uses of water.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Trent Lewis with the Office of Public Works. I'm going to give an abbreviated version of the PowerPoint presentation that we did at informational this afternoon. Essentially what this ordinance does is it enacts with ordinance the 3 stages of water restrictions or water management plan that we have for lawn watering in the City of Sioux Falls. So I'll take you through those 3 stages, and if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer those at the end. Stage 1. What does stage 1 mean for us? Stage 1 is our normal operating condition, and what that is that's an odd, even, noon to 5 watering restriction. So if you have an even numbered house, you water on an even day. If you have an odd numbered address, you water on an odd day. What regulates this? When we're at stage 1, the river flow in the Big Sioux River is above 50 cubic feet per second at the Del Rapids gauge. The next stage of our plan is stage 2. What does stage 2 mean? Stage 2 means that we water once a week. We water once a week based on, again, the address number of your house. So we've divided the addresses up based on last number and assigned them to a day. When are we in stage 2? We're in stage 2 and the Big Sioux River is below 50 cubic feet per second, but above 20 cubic feet per second. And when water consumption in the city of Sioux Falls is more than 42 million gallons a day. One of the things that we did with this water management plan is we had a 2-trigger system. The river has to be at that below 50 cubic feet per second for a duration of time, 10 consecutive days. So that last year, if you remember, when we had times where we were below 50 for a while and then we were up above 52, this really takes that and sets a clock. It has to be 10 consecutive days so that we're observing a trend in the river. And then the other thing for our customers to participate in using their water wisely is if they don't use water at a rate where we go above 45 or 42 million gallons a day, we can stay in stage 1. If we go above that rate, then we would go to stage 2. And the final part of the plan, this 3-stage plan, is stage 3. What does this mean? It means that the river is below 20 cubic feet per second, and the water consumption is more than 34 million gallons a day. When the river is below 20 cubic feet per second, we no longer have the ability to harvest water out of the Big Sioux River. And so that leaves us with our aquifers in Lewis and Clark as a source. And because of that, we need to manage those sources so that they're there in case of a long-term drought. Stage 3 means that we won't allow watering in the city of Sioux Falls until the water situation for our resources improves. And that's essentially our 3-stage plan. What it does is it provides a 2-trigger system. It provides recognition of the, or acknowledgement of the Lewis and Clark source, and it essentially simplifies from where we were before and takes out some of the verbiage as far as you can't wash your car in the driveway, that kind of thing. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Trent, thank you. And this is a first reading, folks, so you don't have the opportunity to engage the council today, but you will if this moves on to a second reading. Council, any questions? Councilor Staggers?
Yes. Trent, I was just wondering, you know, we have an ordinance right now that says when you're watering your lawn, if you get water on the sidewalk, you've committed a code violation. Are we eliminating that with this new ordinance?
Now, wasting of water, that would be a waste of water, and wasting of water is still prohibited.
Okay, but it's just kind of a ridiculous ordinance because anytime when somebody sprinkles their lawn, almost invariably there's going to be some water that gets on the sidewalk, and that is a violation of code. Is there any way we can kind of eliminate that? It's just a little too much.
Well, I think the situation that you're talking about, I think that happens, but we've also been out in the city and we've seen people where the water is just running down the curb because they have a sprinkler that's misaligned or they have sprinklers that are running out onto the street and they're wasting water in large amounts, and we want to make sure that we regulate that and that does not happen. We want people to use water effectively, and we want our customers to make sure that they do that and not just run it down the storm sewer or down the drain.
Okay.
Councilor Karski?
2 questions, if I may. The watering of the sidewalks, I guess my interpretation of that was that if you have a sprinkler system, you couldn't put it on the boulevard and be watering the boulevard and over the sidewalk onto your main lawn. Is that kind of what the intent of that is?
I think that is the intent, is that you water the area and you develop a sprinkler system that hits just the grassy areas and not the concrete surfaces.
Okay. And then the second part of my question is in regards to this ordinance. Am I to understand that the way it is written, that when water flows go back above, it automatically reverts to the, say it goes above 50 cubic feet per second for so many days, it automatically goes back to stage 1, doesn't take any special action? Is that?
Right. What this does is this water management plan essentially puts those steps in place so that we don't, every time we want to switch from one stage to the other, we don't come to council for a resolution. This is the entire plan, and we have the ability to move between stages. And to go from one stage to another to go up, if you look, the river flow has to be higher than to go down, and it has to be there for more consecutive days. An example, to go from stage 2 back to stage 1, the river has to be at 75 cubic feet per second, which is higher than the threshold to go down. And it has to be there for 20 consecutive days. And again, going back to what we talked about for that 10 consecutive days, we're looking for long-term trends to see something that's reversing, because we're also trying to protect that resource so that it's available for a long-term dry situation or a drought situation.
Thank you.
Councilor Staggers?
Yes. Trent, can you clarify this a little bit? On your slide here dealing with stage 2, you know, it talks about 10 consecutive days, but more than 20 cubic feet per second. Also, the citywide demand for water is more than 42 million. Is that an and or between those two concepts?
No, it's both. It has to be both triggers. It is a two-trigger system.
Okay, so to go to stage 2, we have to be at 20 cubic feet per second, and city water demand is 42 million gallons per, more than 42 million gallons per day.
If it's more than 42, then we would go. Correct. So we could.
It has to be both of those
at
at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Council, good discussion. Would anybody want to set a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, April 16th for this item?
So moved. Rolfe.
Second.
Councilor Rolfing, thank you, and Councilor Anderson Jr., thank you for the second. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 14.
First reading an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a portion of a permanent utility easement located in Lot 6, Block 2, Sioux Empire Development Park, 3 East Addition to the City of Sioux Falls, Minnehaha County, South Dakota, and vacated public right-of-way in Section 4, Track 101 North, R49W of the 5th Principal Meridian, Minnehaha County, South Dakota.
Thank you. Now I'll tell you where it is. Thank gosh I don't have to read that, Denise. Thank you. This permanent utility easement is in the southwest corner of the intersection of Amadon Street and Cliff Avenue, or just south of the St. Michael Cemetery. This easement was retained when portions of this right-of-way was vacated in 2008. The easement does not contain any public or private utilities and is no longer needed. The property owner, Gene Pesca, has requested this easement be released so he can develop the land that currently has the easement on it.
Thank you, Chad. Yes, Councilor Anderson Jr.
Chad, didn't we talk about this property last year, year and a half ago? I thought we already
We vacated
all this property.
We vacated the right-of-way, but we kept the easement, which is typically, usually once we vacate right-of-way, we typically keep an easement for a given period of time, just in case at some point we need to have a utility put in there. But in this case, Gene plans on building in that area, so since it does not contain any utilities and we don't foresee the need that it'll ever have utilities, now we'll bring the release forward.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilor Rolfing.
Where would utilities come in from this then, from the Amadon?
I would assume Amadon, or it just kind of depends if he could also come off the line that maybe feeds that tire store.
Yeah.
But this will all be, his site plan will all be reviewed and approved per our engineering design standards.
Okay. Move approval, Rolfing.
Second, Anderson.
Councilor Rolfing, thanks for making a motion to approve this. Councilor Anderson Jr., thanks for seconding it. What we're doing is we're setting a date of hearing and second reading for Tuesday, May 14th. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Council members Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 15.
A resolution amending the 2013-2017 capital program, Public Works Street.
Good evening. Galen Huber, Street Fleet Manager for Public Works. This resolution is amending my 2013 other capital expenditure program. Currently in the 2013 budget, I have approved the purchase of 2 air compressors and 1 manhole cover cutter. Over the last year, I've had other more essential items that broke down for me, and I would request the change. The change is a concrete trailer that we have all our forms, all our trowels, all our equipment, our rebar that we carry, and is an essential part of my 11 crews that I have during the summer months. That trailer is 20 years old, and the undercarriage of it is basically non-functional anymore. The asphalt hot box is an addition to the fleet. I have one right now, and during the winter here, I've always used more the county's hot box in addition to mine more than the county has. So I'm seeing a need for a second one, and that's what the asphalt hot box is. The third one is a replacement. I have a hydro hammer in the back of my backhoe that's used to knock out the concrete around manhole covers so I can raise and lower them. That constant jarring on concrete really wears and tears on this piece of equipment, and last fall that broke down for me. So those are the three pieces of equipment that I would like to purchase and delay purchasing the air compressors and the manhole cover cutter.
Councilor Anderson Jr.
I guess with us going to have a work session tomorrow when we were talking about the extra funds, or next week, this would have been a nice little item because it's not a huge amount of money. It would have been a nice thing to look. Couldn't this been part of the capital project?
Mr. Mayor, I think he's working within the 2013 budget, and it's not part of the 2012 surplus that we're dealing with in our work session. Is that correct?
It's correct, and we're actually not asking for any new appropriation. We're simply asking to reprioritize our list. At the end of last year, we were able to replace 2 air compressors. We had 4 total in the plan for the 2 years. The 2 that we were scheduled to replace, because you have to set these plans out 5 years in advance, we believe we can get some additional life out of them. And so that provides us an opportunity to reprioritize those 2, and then just to address these higher priority items. So the excess capital, that's for items that either are in addition to for more appropriation. This is within our current appropriation that you approved last year. It just essentially reprioritizes the council.
Mark, though, couldn't, to Councilor Anderson Jr.'s point, even though you are reprioritizing items, they could utilize the excess funds, the $1.8 million, to purchase these items, couldn't they, if they wanted to?
They certainly could. We think it's probably a more prudent approach, since we know today we can get more life out of those 2 air compressors that we've prioritized, and so then it allows you to do more expanded things with those additional dollars.
Okay.
And I take it that those 2 items or 3 items would offset for those?
Correct.
For
yep.
the items you're replacing?
Yeah, the manhole cover cutter, my fleet division did miracle with that and rebuilt it for me. So I can get another 5 years out of that manhole cover cutter.
I guess I was just wondering, because our street department has been doing some amazing work over the last few years, and as we continue to add that workload, Russell Avenue, some of the other streets we're looking at, just a question.
Good job.
Thank you.
Councilor Anderson Jr., would you mind making a motion to approve this?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second, Karski.
And it's been seconded by Councilor Karski. If there is no further discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Intiman?
Yes.
Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll now move on to item number 17.
A proposed resolution vacating the public right-of-way on North Markey Avenue from north right-of-way line of West Tickman Street to south right-of-way line of West Cayman Street.
Good evening, Chad Hebe with engineering. This portion of Markey Avenue is south of Benson Road and west of I-29. The north 500 feet of this right-of-way does contain utilities, but the roadway has never been constructed. A petition was initiated by Wade Beam of Lloyd Construction and is in compliance with state and local regulations. If the right-of-way is vacated, a partial utility easement will be maintained for the existing utilities. The petitioner plans to use the vacated right-of-way for future development, and we did hold a neighborhood meeting on April 3rd. It was attended by 7 of surrounding businesses, and there was no opposition.
Chad, thank you. Would anybody want to speak to this item? Council?
Move to approve.
Second, Erpenbach.
Councilor Jameson has made a motion to approve item 17, seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. If there is no discussion, a roll call vote, please.
Counselors Entman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
That is passed 8-0. Item 18.
A proposed resolution vacating the public right-of-way on a portion of West Russell Street, right-of-way as shown on Exhibit A.
This portion of Russell Street is east of Western Avenue. I initiated the petition, and it is in compliance with state law. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will be maintained. The vacated right-of-way will be used for parking for the event center.
Did anybody want to speak about this item? Council, any comments, motions? Yes, Councilor Rolfing.
We really can get some parking out there, huh, that way.
Yep, and we're today it's being used for temporary parking while the construction's underway.
With the expansion of Russell going in there, and okay. Okay, it just seems
fits.
like it's and the lot E there. Is that our parking lot or is that the school district lot E?
That is ours. And I should comment on the expansion of Russell Street. Most of the expansion is going into the middle. So,
yeah.
like the frontage roads, nothing changes with those. And yes, Lot E is ours.
Okay.
And
Lot
everything
E is the only one that the school board owns, school system?
I think Lot S is the one down on the corner of Madison and Western is the one that they own and that we have an agreement to use during
that's the
large
one
events.
with the baseball diamonds, isn't it?
No, that's way down.
Oh, it's way down there. But they don't Lot D, this Sioux Falls school system owns that too, don't they? Yeah. Okay. Just curious.
Good job.
Everything fits.
Councilor Jameson.
Chad, how many spots are we picking up? Did you say? Sorry.
I'll have that answer for you at the second reading or the public hearing.
Is this Chad's parking lot? Heard of it?
You know, I had to ask why I was initiating this, but no, it's not my parking lot at all.
All right, well, I say good job. Keep finding as many as you can.
All right.
Thank you. Councilor Urbanbach, did you have a question?
No, he answered my question. Thank
very
you.
good. Oh, Councilor Staggers.
I just got to ask, is this the first time you've personally initiated something like this?
Well, other than
I know this other stuff.
Other than sidewalk assessments, yes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I apologize.
On that one, I'll move approval on that one.
Councilor Rolfing, thank you.
Second, Aguilar.
Councilor Rolfing has made a motion to approve Chad's parking lot, and it was seconded by Councilor Aguilar. If there is no further discussion,
Mayor?
Yes, I'm so
Mayor.
sorry.
To set a hearing date for Chad's
Oh,
parking lot,
yes,
not
we
to
are.
approve it.
We are setting a hearing date for Tuesday, May 14th. So if anybody wants to talk about it, they can. Thank you so much. A roll call vote, please.
Council members Entman?
Yes.
Urbanbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Karski?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Aguilar?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Item 19.
Approve the mayor's appointment of Chad Hebe, city engineer, for nominee for director and delegate, and Trent Lubers, utility systems administrator, to serve as alternate to represent the city of Sioux Falls at official meetings for the Lewis and Clark Rural Water System.
Chad, would you explain yourself, please?
Certainly. I am the delegate or on the board of directors for the Lewis and Clark Regional Water System. I attend monthly meetings and then am one of 19 votes on behalf of the system, and I vote on behalf of the city. And if I'm not able to be there, Trent will be the alternate. And the reason we have to do this is because this is the final year that the body, city council, has to take and approve me as the delegate for the annual meeting, which is in May. And they've changed the bylaws, so we won't have to do this again. Once I am the delegate, I can always vote then.
Chad, a quick question. Does the city of Sioux Falls have the same voting power as anybody else on the system, or is it based on utilization rates? Could you answer that?
We're one vote.
Very good.
just as the other 20 members are.
Thank you. Thank you. Hope you don't mind, Council. I had always inquired about that. Any motions?
Move to approve, Erpenbach.
Second Entenmann.
Councilor Bach, thank you very much for that. And Councilor Entenmann has made a motion to second that. All those in favor, a roll call vote, please.
Councilors Intiman,
Yes.
Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Karski,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Staggers,
Yes.
Aguilar,
Yes.
Anderson.
Yes.
That has passed 8-0. Council, great job tonight. Any other? Yes, Councilor
One other
Bach,
thing.
please.
I know you were just going to ask that. I just wanted to remind council and the public that we have, due to the weather, postponed our work session for tomorrow afternoon. It will now be next Thursday, April 18th at 4 o'clock, and it will be here at the Carnegie. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Council, again, thanks for being here. Just quickly before we adjourn, you'll notice all the council is here tonight, along with there were some members of the public serving, and it's one of the most interesting weather events we've had in our city's history. So government continues no matter what the weather. Thank you for your service, City Council. Could I have a motion to adjourn?
So move Entenmann. Second Rolfing.
Councilor Edmonds made that motion, seconded by Councilor Rolfing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you, Sioux Falls. Please drive safe. Thank you.